This is one form of a deadlift, known as the bent knee deadlift. The other form is a straight leg deadlift. And then there's the single leg deadlift. There's many variations, but in this particular one we're going to be bending at the knees, and it's very reminiscent of a squat or a parallel squat, where the torso is going to stay upright. We're going to hinge into the hips, allow the torso to drop down so that the knees and hips are about the same level off the ground. The head stays back behind the knees, and the head is not drifting forward into that position. Here, into this position, we just drive up into a standing pose. Now, we can use a variety of tools. We can have dumbbells, where we have them by our side, and then just dropping down into the deadlift position, and then coming back up again. Now you'll see that the head, shoulders, and hips are all going to lower at the same time, meaning that the hips don't stop and the head drives forward or the shoulders lower first. Everything lowers at the same time. And then we drive up from that position. Now if I were to just hinge at the hips and lean over, that's going to be more reminiscent of a stiff leg or straight leg deadlift. In this particular case, we're looking to see that the knees and the hips are going to flex and lower at the same time, extend and rise at the same time. There's also the kettlebell. Now with the kettlebell, we can have this between the legs, and as you lower down, the kettlebell is going to pretty much aim for right between the center of the heels or the middle of the arch. From a profile, we want to make sure that the kettlebell doesn't sway out in front of the body or in front of the feet. We really want to start it with the kettlebell between both feet and between the arches, almost pulling the hips down into that position to begin with. Head stays upright, and then we drive up from that position. And then in order to lower back down, we just reverse directions, keeping that kettlebell in between both heels. And there's another way which we can do this, is using an Olympic barbell or a hex bar. Now the hex bar itself has 6 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hex bar shape, and we can apply weights if necessary onto the ends of them, and you stand inside the hexagon itself. So we've got the bar on either side. Now the nice thing about the hex bar is that it can keep the weight around the body and not front loading it like a barbell will. And that front loading may often cause that lower back to kick in a little bit more than you'd like it to. In fact, it'll kind of almost encourage compensation if you're not really paying attention. With a hex bar, it's a little bit more balanced by our side, so we're not going to have that tendency to truly lean forward like the barbell will. So with your feet parallel, about hip or shoulder width apart, and the head upright, you're just going to bend into the hips, drop down so that the knees and the hips are the same level off the ground, shoulders back, head behind the knees, and then drive on up. The same movement with just a different tool. Now with the hex bar deadlift, you can start from the ground provided you have the mobility in the hips to do so. Another approach might be to start from the top and work your way down. And it may be good to just have boxes of some sort that you can lower down to on each side and then lift up. And then over time, get lower and lower platforms that you're trying to aim to get the bar down to that position until no more boxes are necessary. So the bent knee deadlift is all about controlling the descent in an upright vertical manner and then driving through the legs, maintaining this upright posture with the upper body. This is very different from the straight leg deadlift, but it's a nice precursor to get you ready to doing that stiff leg or straight leg deadlift.